So, you're sitting in your car. It's 7:45 p.m. You just finished a full 9 to 5 shift at the office. Your back is throbbing, and instead of going home to chill with your family or, I don't know, actually sleep, you're waiting outside a Wingstop for a DoorDash order that pays $6.50. And 50 cents. And you're telling yourself, I'm grinding, I'm building wealth, I'm getting ahead. But are you? Or are you just running on a hamster wheel that's actually costing you money? Look, let's keep it a buck. We live in a culture that glorifies the hustle. You open Instagram and everybody and their mama is talking about 7 streams of income. You got the crypto guys, the dropshipping gurus, the vending machine experts, all telling you that if you aren't working 18 hours a day, you're lazy. But here's the thing nobody wants to admit. Most of these side hustles, they aren't businesses. They're just low-wage second jobs dressed up as entrepreneurship. And for a lot of you, they're actively keeping you broke. Now you might be thinking, Donald, come on, money is money. If I make an extra $500 a month, that's $500 I didn't have. Is it though? Let's look at the math, because the math does not care about your feelings. Let's take the most common hustle, rideshare and food delivery, Uber, Lyft, DoorDash. The apps tell you you're making $23 to $25 an hour during peak times, and when that direct deposit hits, it feels like a win. But let's break down the real numbers. You drive for 4 hours. The app says you made $100. You're feeling good, but you drove 60 miles to make that money. The IRS standard mileage rate for 2025 is 70 cents per mile. That covers gas, wear and tear, tires, oil changes, depreciation. 60 miles times 70 cents is about $42. That's $42 of actual value stripped directly out of your car. It's invisible, but it's real. Your car is dying faster so your wallet can look fatter. So now that $100 is actually $58. But wait, we ain't done. You're an independent contractor. That means you pay the employer and employee side of taxes. That's roughly 15.3% for self-employment tax alone, plus your income tax bracket. Let's be generous and say the government wants 25%. There goes another $15. So now you're left with $43 for 4 hours of work. That's $10.75 an hour. And that doesn't even count dead miles, waiting time, or sitting in parking lots hoping for a ping. Studies show that after expenses, many gig workers make less than minimum wage. Some of y'all are literally paying to work. You just don't realize it yet because the depreciation bill hasn't come due. This is what I call the cash flow illusion. You see cash coming in, but you ignore the wealth leaking out. Now let's talk about online hustles, drop shipping, Amazon FBA, how I made $50,000 in a month selling humidifiers. Look, can you make money drop shipping? Yes. Can you win the lottery? Also yes. But is it a strategy? No. The stats for 2025 are brutal. Success rates sit between 10 and 20%. That means 80 to 90% fail. Average profit margins are razor thin, around 15 to 20%. So to make $3,000 in real profit, you need to sell $15,000 to $20,000 in cheap plastic products every single month. Do you know how much time and money you have to spend on ads to do that? You're not building a business, you're building a donation center for Mark Zuckerberg's ad revenue. So why do we do it? Why do we cling to these hustles even when the math ain't mathing? This is where it gets really interesting. It's not financial, it's psychological. There's something called the sunk cost fallacy. You keep going because you've already invested time or money, a $500 course, 3 weekends building a Shopify store. So you refuse to quit, even when it's returning $0. But beneath that, it's about control. At your 9 to 5, you feel like a cog. Your boss tells you what to do. Your raise is capped at 3%. It feels tight. It feels small. The side hustle gives you a notification. You earned $12. That feels like freedom. And that feeling is so addictive, you ignore the fact that you spent 2 hours to earn $12. You're trading your most valuable asset, your time, for pennies, just to feel in control. And that brings me to the biggest cost of all. It's not the gas, it's not the taxes, it's the opportunity cost. Here's what most people don't realize. The time you spend driving for Uber or packing Etsy boxes is time you are not spending on skills that actually compound. Let's go back to our DoorDash driver making that theoretical $10.75 an hour. If you spend 20 hours a week doing that, you make an extra $215. Cool, that pays the light bill. But what if you took those same 20 hours and spent them learning data analytics, or studying for a project management certification, or learning how to use AI tools for enterprise efficiency? The World Economic Forum estimates that upskilling can boost your salary potential by thousands of dollars a year. A single certification, like a PMP or a Google Data Analytics cert, can bump a salary from $50,000 to $80,000. That is a $30,000 raise, permanent, recurring, every single year. To make $30,000 driving Uber, you would have to drive an extra 1,500 hours a year. That's a second full-time job. But if you get the skill, you get the money without working the extra hours. That is leverage. Rich people don't trade time for money. They trade skills for money. They trade assets for money. When you're side hustling in a low-skill gig, you're telling the market, my time is worth the lowest common denominator. You're competing with everyone who has a driver's license and a pulse. That is a losing game. So, am I saying all side hustles are trash? No, but you do need to audit your hustle. Ask yourself 3 questions right now. 1. Is this scalable? If I stop working tomorrow, does the money stop? If the answer is yes, you don't have a business, you have a job. 2. Is this building a high-value skill? If you're driving a car, you aren't learning anything new, you're just aging. If you're freelance copywriting, video editing, consulting, okay, now we're talking. You're getting paid to practice a skill that becomes more valuable over time. 3. What is your effective hourly rate? Take your total profit after expenses and taxes and divide it by all the hours you spent, including the waiting around time. If that number is lower than what you make at your day job, you need to stop immediately. You are better off working 1 hour of overtime, or better yet, sleeping. Rest is an investment too. Burnout is expensive. If you grind yourself into a hospital bed trying to make an extra $200, you already lost the game. Stop chasing pennies on the pavement while dollars are flying over your head. The goal isn't to be busy. The goal is to be free. And you will never get free working for $10 an hour in your spare time. Pick a skill, master it, sell that, or don't. Keep driving, keep grinding. Pick up the order, drop it off, check the app, refresh the screen. Tell yourself this is temporary, that this is just a season, that it'll all add up eventually. It won't. One night you'll be sitting in that same car, different year, same routine. The seats more worn, the steering wheel a little looser, the engine a little louder than it used to be. The money, gone as fast as it came. You'll scroll your phone and realize 5 years disappeared between pickups and drop-offs. No new skill, no leverage, no real progress. And that's when it hits. You weren't building a future, you were maintaining survival.